the Indianapolis Colts look to face one of their more deadly challenges in 2024, and they look to do it pretty battered. We'll get into the injury report and all that and more on this video. What's going on? It's Elijah from Sports Talk Indy, where we cover all things Colts every single day. And the big news today is the injury report, because it's looking pretty daunting. Today, obviously, being Friday, which means that we're getting who's out, who's not, who's not going to make it, what's that look like, what's the practice, all of that. And the big name to point out that we talked about the other day is Braden Smith versus TJ Watt, because Braden Smith has not yet allowed a sack against TJ Watt, which is incredible, because TJ Watt, obviously future Hall of Famer, unbelievably good edge rusher. And in the two games that Braden Smith has played, not allowed a sack. In the one game, Braden Smith was not playing against TJ Watt. 2 sacks were allowed. So it's Braden Smith has TJ Watt's number at the moment. But here's the problem. Listed on the injury report today, we got news that Braden Smith is once again listed as questionable. So he did not practice on Wednesday. He was a full participant Thursday and then did not practice Friday. So he's questionable. Now, what likely this could mean is that he is just simply taking it easy. He's not playing because of how big of a challenge this is going to be on Sunday morning. But it does look as though that there's reason to believe, obviously being questionable, there's reason to believe that he could not play on Sunday, which means if you look at the depth chart, the next right tackle coming up is rookie Matt Gonzalez, which would be an absolute nightmare of a first game to have your first start in the NFL, is to go against TJ Watt on the right side. Now, I don't know exactly what that would look like, but I mean that's the depth at right tackle right now, and I'll pull this up right here. The depth at right tackle is Braden Smith, Matt Gonzalez, and maybe Dalton Tucker has a more experience in right tackle. I don't know that I would put Dalton Tucker above Matt Gonzalez by any means, but definitely that could be a very big developing story if he's not able to play, because that's going to be. TJ Watt would likely in that scenario have just a heyday. And that's not to discredit Matt Gonzalez. Matt Gonzalez could come out and absolutely ball out and be incredible, but that's the big storyline. So here the other pretty big news coming out of the injury report. So this is the practice report for today, final practice. Chris Lamons, who did not practice, and then was a full participant. He is actually going to be the slot cornerback now that Kenny Moore has been ruled out. You see, Kenny Moore did not practice at all on any practice this week, and he is out, as is Kwity Paye. These are 2 massive blows to this Colts defense. And luckily, the Steelers' offense isn't exactly what you would deem as overpowering or anything like that, but still, Kwity Paye is having a great season, so hate to see that he's out, and really want to see Justin Fields under pressure, want to see him make those bad throws, want to see him have that panic, and really there's a good chance that they could have some good pressure against Justin Fields. I mean, this is a good Steelers offensive line. They've had some good games so far, but it is a big deal. And the other big offensive line below. And again, we're talking about the offensive line being the premier position group for the Indianapolis Colts. They're ranked number 1 in the NFL. They have been all season. They've been doing really, really well. Having a lot of pressures, are really pushing the run quite a bit. But then you see these Braden Smith questionable, Ryan Kelly questionable. He did not practice on Thursday or Friday. And so we will, as we find out more information on Ryan Kelly, will definitely be that. But then that you potentially are looking at Tanner Bortolini or Danny Pinter as the backup center, again, against a really good Steelers defensive line. I mean, the defensive tackle room of the Steelers is nothing to joke at either. So this could potentially be a really, really challenging matchup for Anthony Richardson and company, and especially on that right side. So look for the Colts to kind of lean more heavily on heavily on the other side, on the left side, with both Blake Freeland and Quentin Nelson there on the other side, or Bernard Raymond, not Blake Freeland, Bernard Raymond and Quentin Nelson on that left side. So more runs, more attention on that left side, and it's going to be a lot up to the tight ends to try and cover as much as they can. So expect to see a lot of 2 tight end sets coming up on this weekend. But yeah, some more, Tyquan Lewis, He did not practice on Thursday or Friday, but he was a full participant on Wednesday. He's still listed as questionable. And then I think that's the whole injury report. So just an update. Chris Layman's is questionable, and at the moment he is the starting cornerback behind or in the slot in place of Kenny Moore, who has been ruled out. Quiddy Pay has also been ruled out with a quadricep injury. Braden Smith with a knee injury. Above everything else, a knee injury is not what you want having to go against TJ Watt. He is listed as questionable. Taekwon Lewis, questionable. Grant Stewart, a linebacker, he was a full participant all week, so he has no injury designation. And then Ryan Kelly, obviously, being questionable with that neck injury, which it seems that he sustained to some degree in practice. I didn't see anything at the beginning of the week, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just missed it, but it does seem as though that he missed it or something happened. So, but I mean, this linebacker room. Talk about where we are at this point in the season. You're talking about Samuel Womack, Chris Lamons, and Jalen Jones. That's the linebacker room right now. The starting coming out is two guys who were cut, who have had no business on any other team, and made it to the Colts, and they've been playing well. Samuel Womack specifically has been playing pretty well. Chris Lamons has had some good tackles as well, and Jalen Jones, obviously reigning AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Who could have called that? I mean, that's a fantastic story. Absolutely love to hear that for Jalen Jones. I think that's been a storyline if you've been following us for any amount of time. Jalen Jones, specifically after preseason and training camp, has been very high on my list, and I thought he's been holding it down, and I love to see that for him. But specifically now you're looking at these three guys who I don't think if you had told me at the beginning of the season, I would have said, well, we're doomed. There's no way we're going to be able to do this. So the hope then remains in the defense and being able to stop Justin Fields, stop the run, and Najee Harris, and be able to limit as far as what they're going to be able to do, and really hope that the pressure really picks up. And not only that, but that you're able to limit Justin Fields' running ability. I mean, Najee is a powerhouse runner. And so that's going to be something that's, I think, going to be difficult to stop. But the Colts did a very good job last week against the run, and obviously it was against the worst run defense, but I like to see the tackles that were made. Zaire Franklin had some really good tackles. Nick Cross, obviously a tackling machine this year, continues to lead the NFL. In fact, 3 of the top 5 tacklers this season are all Indianapolis Colts. It's Zaire Franklin, Nick Cross, and EJ Speed, which is good. That's good to see. That's what you want. But we will continue to see what the Colts are going to be able to do, and I'm still hopeful for this team. I'm still hopeful that the Colts are going to be able to pull out what would be probably considered an upset win, and hopefully that Anthony Richardson's able to really do a better job of nickel and diming it. It seems that from what we've seen in practice so far this week, that accuracy has been a really big point of emphasis for him and what he's trying to do and what he's trying to grow in, and also just making those reads early and reading defenses. Mike Tomlin's a defensive guru. He has been for 20 years in the NFL, and expect to see potentially some really challenging plays and some really challenging looks coming from the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. But Shane Steichen, they said they have a plan. They have a plan for this defense, and we have to trust in that, and we will see what comes up as we go.